Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. Now, in spite of what the corporate media and even some independent media will have you believe, the fact is that we are seeing and have been seeing for a number of weeks, months, a growing level of unity across all social boundaries. Some people don't see it, some people don't want it, but the vast majority of us are gaining more and more unity as time goes by. The protests that have happened since the George Floyd murder have been a strong indicator that the vast majority of Americans are not racists. We do not want this kind of division. We do not favor the overreach, the abuse of police departments. We want to see funding taken away from the militarized police and shifted more into social programs that actually help our society. We want to see an end to the drug war. We want to see less violence on our streets, including from the police. And it kept shifting for further and further that we don't want the symbols of racism and division even standing up there as a representation of our society. We want unity. We want equality. Other examples, poll after poll after poll shows that across party divisions, Americans support universal health care. Gee, imagine that. The majority of us, whether for ourselves or for others, but I think for both, we want to see Americans taken care of and have medical care as a right. Even capitalists have to understand that the more you shift and kick the can down the road of paying for medical care, one way or another, those costs increase. A person with a minor medical condition or a controllable medical condition, such as diabetes or high blood pressure, eventually is going to wind up needing much more critical, much more expensive medical care. There are very few people who support drug prices and insurance premiums and deductibles, except for the people that profit off of these things. I mean, who wants to see insulin costing $400 a month? You have to be a complete idiot to approve of this. As little as it costs to produce insulin, and as little as it is charged for in other countries, you know that those prices are not necessary. We've seen our votes taken away from us. We oppose that. We want electoral reform. We want more and more. The media keeps on continuing with this stuff about pushing Russia and China and all this stuff in the midst of millions of Americans being laid off from their jobs. And no, this did not start with the pandemic. We had over 9,000 retail outlet closures last year that cost hundreds of thousands of jobs. We had, truck drivers and dozens of trucking companies that shut down during the holiday season. They went bust, no longer exist, put thousands of truckers out of work. This was before the pandemic ever came along. And at this point, it is expected that we'll have over 25,000 retail closures this year. How many jobs is that going to eliminate? I pointed out before, you eliminate the retail outlet, further down, you have to keep on looking further down the road, downstream from that, because now you're getting rid of maintenance workers that contract with them. You're getting rid of truck drivers that deliver goods. You're getting rid of manufacturers that supply these stores. You're getting rid of dock workers. And for every worker that you lose, that is a consumer, you're cutting, consumer spending. With millions of jobs on the line right now, most of those jobs are not going to come back. Some people say 40%. I think it's much higher. Those jobs are not going to come back. So, in the recent years, universal basic income has gained more notoriety and more attention. So I think further and further, it is looked at more favorably. So when jobs cease to exist by the millions, and people have no option to earn a living, then what are we going to do as a society? What are we going to do? In the next few weeks, the moratorium on rent and mortgages comes to an end. We are going to see the biggest housing crisis in U.S. history take place, as millions of Americans are just thrown out on the streets. If you think that you're secure in your own home, that this is not your problem, you're dead wrong. You're absolutely dead wrong. It is your problem. And it will continue to be your problem. The unemployment subsidy from the government that is added on, that ends in 2 to 3 weeks. And from there, what happens? Even if people are not faced with having to pay a lump sum payment to catch up on their rent or mortgage, they're still going to be faced with a drastically reduced income, if any income at all, and having to pay to keep a roof over their head. What are we going to do? What is the logical end result of this? You think that crime isn't going to rise? You think that disease is not going to run rampant? When you have millions of people that are living in tents or cardboard boxes and have no sanitation facilities, you think that we're not going to see a rise in all kinds of disease and sanitation problems? Or you think it's just not going to affect you? You're wrong. It will affect you. No matter who you are, it is affecting you now. You may not be aware of it, but it is affecting you now. This rise in protest and even riots, this is only an inkling of what is to come. We are all facing similar problems. We are all linked together. And it is time for us to start acting like we are linked together. You need to put down your lattes and, stop thinking that you're privileged in some way, because that privilege only goes so far. Where does that privilege come from? There is no part of the economy that is safe. Okay, you're invested in, Amazon. Okay, people that get thrown out of their homes and order something from Amazon, well, they have to have a place that it will be delivered to. Facebook, if you don't have internet, well, you're not logging into Facebook, so you're not seeing ads. Google, same thing. What information are they going to sell to their advertisers? So what is going to happen to your stock in these companies? People that have their cars repossessed are not going to be buying gas. So what's going to happen to the oil companies, the gas companies, etc.? You own real estate or stock in equity real estate companies. When nobody can afford to pay their rent and so forth, what happens to the value of that investment? It's all going down. It's all going down. None of you are safe. So you can stop thinking in terms of your privilege. All right? We've all watched what has happened as Americans are allowed to suffer hunger and do without medical care, while the corporations get all these bailouts of trillions of dollars, while the banks that invested in these failing companies have been bailed out by the Federal Reserve. We all need to be against these things. I understand, some of the bankers and the ones that are directly profiting, being all in favor of it. But why are you? Are you getting a direct benefit from it? Probably not. It's probably costing you and will cost you a lot more than you're getting from it. All right, so I have to give out a shout out to Wendy Chavez and Julian Wang Thank you very much for supporting the channel. That helps a tremendous amount. Everyone else, if you can afford it, please donate $1 a month and help me expand the channel. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. I don't care how much the media is telling you how divided we are. Take a look around you at what is happening. Because all the divisions are starting to break down. They have tried to use this collapse to divide us. You can't blame the immigrants. You can't blame Russia. You can't blame China. None of this has anything to do with any of them. This is all us. And the way out of this is all us. Don't doubt it. Be part of it. Promote it. Keep reaching out across all divisions. Talk about it. Try. Because that's our only way forward. We can either join together and build, or we can all crash together. What's it going to be? It's all up to you. All right, so I thank you very much. I hope you have a good evening.